Being unable to solve or know the Riddle of Steel always comes with a price, and in a hostile world like this one, the price is death. However, in this world and in fiction in general, death mustn't always be the end, but can also be a door towards becoming a wiser version of yourself, and this is what happens to Conan when he is crucified on the Tree of Woe. The image of him on the tree is similar to that of Jesus and Odin, especially the latter. Whereas Jesus became a higher being through his sacrifice, Odin hung himself on the tree as a self-sacrifice to gain more knowledge and wisdom. Conan's death or almost death and resurrection destroy his former self that only relied on steel and open him up for learning new lessons. The crucifixion reminds me of yet another Greek myth that I have already mentioned, the myth of Prometheus. The movie is quite similar to the myth. Like Sisyphus, Prometheus was condemned to eternal punishment for his transgression against the will of Zeus, the highest of the Olympian gods. Prometheus was bound to a rock where an eagle appeared each day to eat his liver, which would grow back overnight due to his immortality. Here, a vulture tries to feast on Conan while he is still alive, but since he isn't immortal, logic dictates that he kills the vulture. And although Conan isn't immortal, the immortality aspect is still maintained to a certain degree because of his later resurrection, and we even get to see the change between night and day like in the myth. Prometheus is eventually freed by the hero Hercules, and in the movie Conan is rescued by Subutai and Valeria. Subutai even wears a bow, which is one of the characteristic weapons of Hercules. It is also important to note in this scene that Conan got saved by a man and a woman, despite the fact that his father had told him that he couldn't trust either of them, and it was rather him who could not be trusted since he had left them without a word. It really just occurred to me that his friends are a man and a woman, and that they at least partially fill out the roles of his parents. Subutai has a theological conversation with Conan comparable to the one at the beginning of the movie. It is interesting that the blocking in this scene is also similar. Conan sits where his father sat. His father was taller than him and therefore dominating the scene. So there's some kind of slope from the upper left to the bottom right, so to speak. Conan is sitting on a slightly higher position, therefore towering over Subutai. And much like his father, he tries to convince him on a theological issue. But unlike the young Conan, Subutai talks back, thereby challenging the teachings of Conan's father. So that this might be the very first time that Conan is forced to question his early teachings. Also notice that they are sitting at a bonfire. Fire is really everywhere in this movie. Valeria clearly reminds us of Conan's mother. Both have blonde hair and are portrayed as strong female warriors, ready to sacrifice everything for those they love. I guess that Conan might have some Oedipal issues going on with him. During Conan's resurrection scene, everything is cast in a ghostly red light. It means that the underworld has come to claim his life. And this observation is nothing special in itself, but as you might remember, the same red light appears again when the three of them enter the mountain of power through the kitchen. The red light foreshadows that death is after one of them, but it is clear that this one can only be Valeria, since she had promised to pay any price to save Conan's life.